fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
I think there's an advantage. I mean, yeah, I think when you go to a racetrack with a little bit more confidence, you always seem to run a little bit better. There's, of course, a little added pressure of trying to perform in front of friends and family, but I mean, you don't try any harder than what you do on a normal week. But things just seem to work out a little bit better for you. So I definitely think there is a little advantage.
You in the back?
Ben Hamlin, NBC 12 in Richmond. On a switch series a little bit. On a night like tonight with weather coming, how much strategy change goes into your planning for the evening?
Well, it's going to be, we're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, when we set up our cars, it was during the day. So if we have to race on Sunday or we have to race whenever it is, we try to do things to our car that will make it handle well during the day and night. Instead of trying to optimize just night conditions or optimize just day conditions, we have a bunch of adjustability built in the race car. So that's the only kind of strategy thing that you can play. If you see the weather coming, 75 laps in, 100 laps in, that's when you kind of need to think about making your last pit stop probably a little bit earlier than what you would normally.
We'll go Ed and then come over to this side of the room.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Denny, when you think about this race, the years you've been in it, and the idea that so much rides on this race for so many people, and then you go into the chase where it becomes, everybody talks about, well, maybe you've got a mulligan, maybe you've got even two. Is it gotten to the point where this race maybe has more electricity and focus on it and things riding on it than maybe even any given chase race, with the exception of maybe Homestead itself?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I don't think it's been since like '04 that we've really had a tight race into Homestead. So, I mean, I think every year there's kind of been some build up into this race for sure, especially with the guys that are on the bubble of in or out. So, yeah, I mean, I think there is a lot of more emphasis probably at this race, more so than any other race in the chase. So, but it's the way the format is, and I think this was kind of a bonus in which the chase format was kind of the reason it was implemented. The bonus is now you can have a race to the chase, not only that, but you don't want to have a blowout in points like we've had in years past. That's why they have the chase. So, the intentions were to have that a race like this for the championship in the last race of the season, but it just seems like some guys have separated themselves throughout the chase, and it's kind of been anti-dramatic, I guess you could say. Well, typically the guys get faster in the fall versus the spring. Not necessarily in speed, but in the cars handle better. Definitely learn a lot of things. So I definitely think that if we came back here with the same thing that we had, we were going to get beat. We probably could run top 5 and probably top 10, and it'd be a safe bet. But we want to come here and we want to win, and we feel like in order to do that, we needed to come with a better car than what we had. We definitely had a dominant car, but things change so much. The weather is so much different than what it was here in the spring that I don't think that what we had would be, perfect like it was last time. And already, we took from what we thought was good setup-wise in the spring, brought it here, and we've changed it quite a bit. And I think we're just as good. So, we're going to see how it all irons out. Seems like every 2 weeks, teams are coming up with newer, lighter race cars, better race cars than what they've had in the past. So, that's May's been 3-4 months ago, and I think a lot of guys would probably bypass us if we stick with what we had.
Denny, was Al Pierce from Auto Week. With so much at stake tomorrow night, why do you want to run the nationwide race tonight? Or is it a matter of I'm here, if I'm racing, I'm not thinking about tomorrow night, so why not?
Well, a lot of it has to do with being at a home track for sure. Of course, I always request. I don't plan on at the beginning of the season, hey, I'm going to be a bubble driver, so make sure I need to concentrate on Richmond. I plan on being locked into the chase 5 races ago. So, when I look at the season, so my outlook. So I don't plan on being in these positions, and if I had to do it over, I would still run the nationwide race because you can learn a few things. We did last in the spring with some tire management and whatnot. So I think it's a benefit for me, especially here, to run both because here, more so than anywhere else, the cars drive more similar than what they do at the bigger tracks.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Denny, a lot of people going into the chase will look at Kyle, Carl, or even Jimmy as the title contenders. Why should folks consider you or even anybody else outside that group to challenge those three?
Well, Jimmy wasn't even an issue until probably 2-3 months ago. He did a lot of testing and picked up his program, and it could happen for any one of the other guys that get in. Greg's really starting to run strong, and I feel like we're coming into our own, coming off a couple third-place finishes, and it was on a variety of racetracks between the big and the small. So, I think we've gotten our package better, and we continue to get better. It's hard for the 99 and the 18 to get much better than what they were. And, we see it in the sport. There's always peaks and valleys, and guys always seem to really peak either before the chase or after the chase. It's hard to see someone really stay on top for an entire year, simply because when someone goes out there and dominates, it just forces everyone else to go to work. So I think there's 10 other guys in the chase, 9 other guys in the chase that are thinking, well, we have something to prove, so let's go test and let's figure out what we got to do to beat these guys. And those are the guys, the dark horses, that's probably more dangerous than what the guys that are expected to go out there and do good.
You're dangerous.
Absolutely.
Hi, Denny. Tom Brandt with the Mechanicsville Local. Refresh my memory on what specifically was the nature of your tire failure in May. What happened to the tire, and also talk a little bit about the main differences between the setup on your car and on your teammate Kyle's car.
Here, they look a lot at our notebooks, and we look at theirs at a lot of other racetracks. But as far as the tire, I'm not sure. It was too far destroyed by the time I got on pit road to figure out what had happened. Obviously, I was leading the race, so obviously there was probably some debris on the racetrack, and I was the first, obviously, to run over it or knock it out of the way. So, only thing I can think of is, and I remember we had just changed tires, so it wasn't an issue of we wore the tire out or anything like that. Obviously, it was a debris that we ran over that cut it down. And as far as setup-wise, we're all very similar here. And on the bigger tracks, it's more driver comfort. We're kind of where the 18 was on the bigger tracks here lately, and they've kind of migrated to where we were that we weren't happy with, and we've kind of flip-flop, it seemed like, and I think we're going to find that middle ground hopefully when the chase starts. I think a lot of things is they're trying different things to make their cars better, and I think they're finding out that what they had was pretty good, because I'm using it now and running pretty competitive on the big racetracks. So that's what I was saying earlier, is it's hard to get better than what you already are if you're winning all the races. It's everyone else that's going to get better.
Denny, Lane Castanante with CBS here in Richmond. With the uncertain weather coming tomorrow night, we know what Sunday's going to be like. Would it be easier for you and the teams to just try and make a setup for Sunday, or would you guys like to try and get this thing in tomorrow night, if possible, to have a day off?
I'd love a day off, but if it does go to day racing, I feel like we're going to be pretty strong during the day. Night, this racetrack can go tight or loose. It depends on your race car. But, I looked at, lap times and whatnot. A lot of guys were slipping and sliding during the day, and they kind of bank on it getting one way or another at night. I think our car was very, very strong during the day practice today. So we're more geared towards day than we are night. But, we were like that here. I think it was last year that we had to race on a Sunday, and we felt like we had a pretty decent car. We were hoping for night racing, ended up during the day, and we said, you know what, during that race I said, if the track was cooler, we were going to be right on where we needed to be, but we finished third. And at this point, we'll take a third-place finish, to start the chase off. So I think either way, day or night, it's not going to change our mentality that much. But I think if it does go day, we should be pretty good.